A well-liked program called The Curse of Oak Island investigates the alleged wealth hidden on Oak Island off the southern coast of Nova Scotia. The show's brothers, Rick and Marty Lagena, think they may be getting close to finding the treasure at last. As they go deeper into the garden shaft, they come across a large hole called H8, which they believe to be a wooden treasure chest. However, digging deeper makes the hole unstable, making it dangerous to dig further. They intend to deepen the garden shaft in order to better explore the tunnel, which they believe could be historically significant. The team continues their work on Oak Island, understanding the significance of handling materials from the H8 dig site with care. They find signs that they may be near the Long S vault, strengthening their commitment to the fabled treasure. This setback reminds them of an earlier dig theory by Terry Mathon that suggested the chest they were after might have been damaged or tampered with by someone in the past. Tell me the direction you wish to take, rumored to be concealed on the island. The group next shifts their attention to the island's southeast wetlands, which are near the location of the original money pit. They are eager to see what they may find there, especially in the vicinity of the old stone road. While their primary goal was to find elusive treasure, the team also ventured into the marsh's deepest areas. In conclusion, they also found antiquities and old items concealed beneath the swampy surface of the area. A fascinating program called The Curse Oak Island delves into the mystery of the island's extensive past and the possibility of a big discovery. The goal of the 2,000-year-old treasure hunt team on Oak Island was to unearth the island's little-known past. They found a route that led to the Knights Templar and a possible landing area for offloading cargo. Therefore, our goal is to identify the paved area's limits. The ancient nature of the artifacts they were finding and the possibility of finding the wealth inspired the crew. Excavation operations. The group hypothesizes that the wetland may be a deliberately designed feature rather than a naturally occurring one. The garden shaft, an 18th century building, is thought to be near a possible treasure tunnel. The group performs the extremely taxing operation of excavating rock and clay layers in the deep clay. They discover further evidence, such as a shoe fragment discovered next to the stone walkway, that supports a theory of human activity in the area. It was probably hand-sewn in Europe and transported to the island based on the stitching. The group is restoring a swamp on Oak Island that they consider to be a crucial link between other areas of the island. They are examining the craftsmanship and state of the swamp, which points to the presence of people supervising the work rather than doing it themselves. Because of its condition and craftsmanship, the letter can be linked to a certain historical period that most likely involved Europeans. Good morning, Rick and Robert. How are you this morning? How are things going? It's good to see you, everyone. To what extent is the team looking at the alignment of the walkway, the placement of stones, and odd geological features that suggest deliberate human activity? In order to find a tunnel that is thought to be beneath the treasure, the team is continuing its excavation work by removing layers of earth from the garden shaft. They are now more focused on conserving history, respecting the island's heritage, and completing a centuries-long goal as a result of this discovery. Devoted researcher Chris Morford is there to share his most recent research, which reveals Nolan's Cross, which goes straight to the money pit said to contain the island's greatest mystery. The fact that the drilled stones themselves, which Frederick Blair found in the late 1800s, precisely match important locations on Nolan's Cross supports the notion that they were a component of a bigger scheme. Chris's passion and the breadth of his research captivate the team, and the placement of the stones and drilling markings appeared too intentional to overlook. If Chris is right, the Templars left behind their heritage, which is preserved in Oak Island's landscape, in addition to their wealth. In search of fresh proof or hints to the island's treasure, the team dug into a marsh on Oak Island. Buried deep within the swamp, they discovered a huge tree stump that suggested the area had once been wooded before being altered to its present state. There were indications that the stump had been chopped by instruments, maybe an axe, creating a floodgate. According to theories, the tree was felled to make room for the construction of a money pit or something similar. It was strange that there were no connected logs close by, because they were supposed to be a part of the plan to prevent the treasure from flooding. The following day, the team went back to the marsh and dug deeper into the triangle-shaped area in the hopes of discovering more signs of human activity. They found another stump with neat incisions that suggested it had been chopped with a tool, but the logs around it were gone. This supported the idea that the swamp had formerly been wooded and subsequently changed to its current state. The group then made a huge discovery when they dug 95 feet down and came across a 7-ton wide tunnel that led to the Baby Blob, an area thought to contain hidden wealth. They discovered wooden fragments that seemed to be a component of the building, perhaps one of the wooden platforms that the money pit has historically been connected to. The building's age was suggested by the round timbers, which established a clear link to its builders. Knowing that they are now closer than ever to learning the truth about Oak Island, the team is resolved to keep going.
Full and secretive medieval order renowned for their. What initially seemed like a small Spanish Morav coin turned out to be a potential link to a vast Knights Templar fortune that could be hidden somewhere on Oak Island. The idea that this island could hold the key to a legendary Templar treasure drove fans and treasure hunters alike captivated. Now let's shift our attention to the grape shot ammunition and horseshoe in Season 5, Episode 8 titled Dan's Breakthrough. It was one of those moments that added more pieces to the puzzle and kept viewers captivated. So, the Lagena brothers and Gary Drayton, never ones to give up, decided to return to Lot 16 near the area where they had previously found 2 English coins in an earlier Season 5 episode, Obstruction. They were on a mission to continue their treasure hunt, and boy did they make some fascinating discoveries. First, they came across a small horseshoe fragment, suggesting it might have been made for a mule or a pony. This was a clue that hinted at the possibility of some kind of activity involving animals in the past on Oak Island. But then things took a more dramatic turn. The trio stumbled upon a piece of ammunition known as grape shot. Grape shot was essentially a cluster of small, round iron balls fired from ship cannons. The fact that they found this on the island was incredibly intriguing. It hinted at a historical connection to maritime activity, possibly even battles or hidden caches of valuables. And the surprises didn't end there. They also discovered another small coin, likely from the 17th century, which was consistent with previous coin findings on the island. Each of these artifacts contributed an additional stratum to the expanding enigma of Oak Island. However, the 16th episode of Season 5, entitled Seeing Red, featuring the Garnet Pendant, was a game-changer that kept viewers on the edge of their seats. Lagena and Gary Drayton made the decision to revisit the location where they had previously unearthed a decorative keyhole. Unbeknownst to them at the time, their return journey would undoubtedly unearth an even more valuable artifact. The investigation commenced with the discovery of a military button from the 17th century, which bore resemblance to the button they encountered in Episode 2 of Season 2. However, the situation became truly thrilling when they unearthed a brooch and what at first appeared to be a multifaceted ruby. In the Season 5 finale, the stakes were abruptly elevated to an entirely new level when the possibility of discovering a precious gemstone on Oak Island kept viewers on the edge of their seats. Incredible discoveries. Gary Drayton had this jewelry examined by a gemologist, and the revelation was nothing short of astounding. What they had mistaken for a ruby was, in fact, a hand-cut rally garnet set in silver. What was even more astounding was that the estimated date of this gem was the 1500s or 1600s. This semi-precious gemstone was not only a valuable discovery, but the most valuable treasure the Lagena team possessed. Following that, which was previously unearthed, the gold-plated brooch was featured in Season 6, specifically in the premiere episode. The discovery in Rick's Big Bang Theory was a genuine game-changer, and it filled the audience with anticipation. Gary Drayton and Lagena are on Oak Island near the residence of Daniel McGinnis, one of the earliest treasure hunters from the 1700s. Using his dependable metal detector, Gary Drayton receives a promising signal. As their anticipation grows, they begin digging, and lo and behold, a jeweled brooch. This was their second such find,